Hello, Seto Knight here, and welcome to another one of my deck profiles. This time my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. Now I did do another deck profile many moons ago. I can't remember how long ago that was, but this is my up to date version of my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. Again, this is my preference and my play style. Are you gonna win any roll calls with this deck? Probably not. Can it beat some meta decks? Yes, it can. Again, I don't know if it can beat the current features meta decks as I haven't played them. I have built this deck on Master Duels. The only one card I can't use is this one because it's not in Master Duel. But other than that, it's pretty much the exact same deck. And it has won a few matches on Master Duels and everything. So it can pretty much hold out and everything. Again, if you take it to your normal wild course, it ain't probably gonna win you the wild course at all. I don't know. It could not. I don't know. It all depends and stuff. This is just my preference. Like I said, I've always been a Blue Eyes White Dragon fan. Seto Kaiba's my man and everything. He's always been my favourite character in Yu-Gi-Oh! Gives the name of my channel, Seto Knight, and everything and whatnot. So again, I have to have a Blue Eyes White Dragon. It also little known fact. Like I said, when I was young and getting into, well, I do apologise there. Getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! My nan gave me enough money to get my first booster pack. Obviously, I picked up the very first booster pack, which was the Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon, and the very first Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster packs, and the card I pulled was the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Not this Blue Eyes White Dragon, but you know, I think first edition as well. I still got that beauty. Before anyone says going, oh, it's worth a what? Not my version because I didn't know back then how valuable cards were, so I played it and it's got scratch marks and everything and whatnot. I've still got it as nostalgia, but it's not gonna be worth anything because of how damaged it is. It's just gonna be nice to know that I do have one of the original Eyes. Unfortunately, if I kept it in better condition, I'd probably be a millionaire right now. Nah, it would be amazing. That further said, I'm going to put my extra deck to one side, and we're going to go into this. So first things first, I'm going to try not to move the cards too much because of the camera and everything. So first things first, going to start off with our three Blue Eyes White Dragons. Gotta have three Blue Eyes White Dragons. If I'm representing Seto Kaiba and everything, you've got to have three Blue Eyes. Again, many people don't use three Blue Eyes, they either use one or two and everything. Again, don't have to go too mental and whatnot, but again, I like my three Blue Eyes White Dragons. I also go in with the OG art style. Again, I have got different art styles of the Blue Eyes White Dragons. Like the new structure deck that came out with maidens of with the new maiden card, which I'll show you in a bit, gives you three different art styles of the Blue Eyes. So, like I said, getting Blue Eyes White Dragon cards are not that hard, but I do prefer the OG art style, and go. That's why I'm sticking to these. So, sticking with the old OG original three. Next card that we won in three copies are Dictator of D. Like I said, we'll go into a bit more detail there. If you don't know what its effect does, like I said, I will leave it there and I will read it just so you can see it better. It is basically when you control Blue Eyes White. While you control Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can choose the attack target for your opponent's attack. You can only use each of the following effects of Dictator of D once per turn. You can send one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. You can then discard one Blue Eyes White Dragon or one card that mentions it. Then target one Blue Eyes monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So basically what it means is if you got this in your hand, you can send one Blue Eyes from your hand or the deck to special summon it. And when you do that, once that's on the field, you can then discard another Blue Eyes or a card that mentions Blue Eyes from your hand to the graveyard to special summon the Blue Eyes that you've just sent to the graveyard back. or Blue Eyes monster. If you do have another Blue Eyes on the field, or anything that mentions Blue Eyes on the field, when your opponent tries to attack this card, you can then pinpoint and move the target to any other card other than this. So you can set up some pretty mean combinations with that. Next card that we're running three of are Maiden of White. This is the new version of Maiden of Iso Brew. Like I said, she's pretty much Maiden of Iso Brew on steroids. She is absolutely OP, and I will go into her effect just right now. So basically, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Place one true white from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up on your spell and trap zone. If you special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card when a card or effect is activated that targets this card on the field, or when this card is targeted for an attack. Quick effect, you can special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon or one level 1 White Tuna from your graveyard. You can only use each of the effects of a Maiden of White once per turn. So, in a nutshell, basically, you got Maiden in your hand. You can send her from your hand to the graveyard to get to summon True White, which is the trap card, which we'll talk about in a bit. And again, you can get it from your hand, deck, so hand, deck, or graveyard. So if it gets destroyed, you can use Maiden to bring it back. This is why she's a powerhouse. Then she has Maidens of Light, Maiden of Iso Brew's effect. If it gets targeted and everything, you can basically activate her effect to special summon a Blue Eyes from your graveyard. So basically, or summon it. Can you summon it? Is it just from the graveyard? You can special summon one Blue Eyes. Yeah, from your graveyard. So it's only from your graveyard. So you can't get it from your deck. So it's only from the graveyard. But again, you can summon a Blue Eyes from your graveyard or another level 1 tuna monster, depending. And then obviously, other effect is basically if she's in the graveyard and you special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can special summon this card from the graveyard. So she's always coming back. Like I said, she is really, really OP. And that's why we want 3 of her. Because, again, why not? Why would you not be running 3? The next card that we want 3 of are Sage with Iso Brew. Again, if you've used Blue Eyes before, you kind of know Sage's effect, but we'll go through it just now. Again, just like Maiden, she's a must. It or he, depending, is a must of a 3. When this card is normal summoned, you can add one level white tuna monster from your deck to your hand except Sage with Iso Brew. You can discard this card, then target one effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your deck. You can only use the effect of this once per turn. So basically, normal summon this, you can then either get your Maiden out. So basically, if you haven't got Maiden in your hand, you put this on the field, use that, get Maiden, send Maiden to the graveyard, get True White or whatever, and everything. And then, like I said, if you have got Maiden on the field, and something, so if you've got Maiden on the field like so, and you've got this in your hand, you can use its second effect to target Maiden. Send her to the graveyard, special summon a Blue Eyes off stage, and then because you've targeted Maiden, you can activate Maiden's effect and basically special summon another Blue Eyes. So you can do two Blue Eyes summons in one go by just using Sage and Maiden. Like I said, ridiculous combos are all there. Next card we play is Master with Iso Brew. I kind of only used this card for the first effect, but I'll read it anyway. With the entire effect. When this card is normal summoned, you can target one level white tuna monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can then shuffle this card from your graveyard into the deck. Then target one effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your deck, from your graveyard, other than the sent monster. You can only use this effect once per turn. So basically, when you play this, you get to resurrect basically any level 1 Tuna monster, which is pretty good. So you can get your Sage back, or you can get your Maiden back, or you can get your Effect Fearers, or whichever level 1 Tuna. I mainly use the first effect. Then if you want to, you can send this to the graveyard. Once this is sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle it back into your deck, the special summon. Otherwise, if you sacrifice a card for it, again, mainly only use the first effect really. But again, it's there as a just in case thing. I need my Maidens or my Sages back pretty quick. Next card that we play are, I play 2 Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragons. Many people don't play this card at all. I do. There's a reason. I'll explain a bit more later, especially with the extra deck. It's vanilla. It gives me 2 more Blue Eyes because they act as Blue Eyes when I'm on the field or in the graveyard. So if I can't get my normal Blue Eyes to the graveyard or on the field, I can use Alternative as the stand-in. Basically, pretty simple effect, really. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by revealing 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand. You can only special summon 1 Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon once per turn. This way, this card's name becomes Blue Eyes White Dragon while it's on the field or in the graveyard. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy it. This card can't attack the turn it does their effect. So basically, it can nuke any monster once per turn, but if you do, you can't attack. Like I said, you can easily special summon it by just revealing Blue Eyes in your hand and everything. Like I said, I won 2. Many people don't even won 1, or if they do, they only won 1 copy. There is a reason why I won 2, and I'll explain later. But again, I like it. It's also, I used to win 3, but now obviously you don't need to as much and everything. Next card is the White Stone of Agents. It's another level 1 Tuna. Again, go into detail. This card is once per turn during the end phase. If this card is in the graveyard, because it was sent there this turn, you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your deck. You can banish this card from the graveyard, then target 1 Blue Eyes monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use the effect of this once per turn. So basically, this card is a suicide card. You basically want it in the graveyard as quick as possible and everything, because as soon as it's in the graveyard at the end of your turn, basically you get to summon your Blue Eyes White Dragon cards and stuff, and any Blue Eyes White Dragon really, not just Blue Eyes itself. You can summon Jet, you can summon Spirit with White, and all that. Basically, there's a few combinations you can do and everything. So that's why we won 2. Used to won 3, but again, don't really need it as much anymore because of the other cards. Next card we play is, here we go, the Hand Traps. Gotta play Ash Blossom. If you want to play competitive, you've got to have your hand traps, regardless if you like love them or hate them. I hate them. I freaking hate hand traps. I think it's what ruins Yu-Gi-Oh! But again, you need to play them now. Again, not going to go into much detail. Unfortunately, because she's a fire, I can't really do much by searching for that. So I'm basically just got to hope I draw her and everything. She's not the only hand trap I've got, so I don't have to panic. But she's the most reliable hand trap. Basically, she negates pretty much mostly everything. Again, most people know what Ash Blossom does. If you played Yu-Gi-Oh!, you've encountered this girl too many times to the point where you literally hate her and everything. Like I said, I've got a love-hate relationship with this card. But again, you gotta win them if you want to play competitive, or if you want to stand a chance, even in Mastered, or if you're not playing competitive. You've got to have hand traps now. Speaking about hand traps, he's my second hand trap, Effect Veiler. Again, he is searchable in this deck because he's a level 1 white Tuna. And not level 1 white. Well, he is a Tuna as well. So is Ash Blossom. But like I said, he's a level 1 white monster. So he's searchable in my deck. Just realising the card's flashing. So I'm just going to put that there. I do apologise. So I just literally turned and saw what thing. It's because it's because this is so glittery. It's so shiny. But yeah, so basically, easy. During the opponent's turn, main phase, quick effect. Let's put that down there for a second. Whatnot. I'm noticing, like I said, I've got the camera on the side of me, so I'm looking at what the effects are. So basically, during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, then target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effect, and that face up monster your opponent controls until the end of the turn. So basically, it neuters effects, basically. And because it's searchable, I've got 2. Next card is Boys Jet Dragon. Again, we used to run multiple copies of these 2, but now I only run 1. This card is amazing and everything, but we'll go into more detail about that in a minute. Just moving that just so it's not affecting. Other cards you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effect. You can only use each of the following effects of Boys Jet Dragon once per turn, and can only activate them while Boys Jet Dragon is on your field or in your graveyard. If a card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from the graveyard. If that was in it, the following card was destroyed, or hand, even if not. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles, you can target one card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. So it's got a bunch of effects. So to narrow it down, once it's on the field, it protects other cards. So it protects True White, it protects your trap cards, protects other monsters. Like I said, it's a really good protector. Second effect is basically, but as I was saying, second effect is if it gets destroyed in the graveyard and another card gets destroyed, you can resurrect it. So it comes back pretty easily as well. So that's good. And then obviously, if it battles, or if you battle with it, as long as you've got a Boys in the graveyard or on the field, you can bounce cards back once per turn. So basically, you got this on the field, you've got Dictator of D on the field, because you've got Boys either in your graveyard or on the field. They try and attack Dictator of D. Dictator of D goes, nope, you're not attacking me. I'm going to bounce you to Jet. The opponent attacks Jet. Jet goes, well, actually, I don't want you to attack me. I'm going to bounce that card back to your hand, so you can send it back to the hand. It's great when people do XYZs or synchros or fusion, and then they go to attack you, not realizing what Jet does, and then you just go, yeah, you just used all that material to summon that card. Bye! And you just bounce their fusion monster back into the extra deck, and you went, well, whoopsie daisy. Next card is Boys Chaos Max Dragon. Not much to talk about on this one. He's the beast of my deck. Basically, you can ritual summon this card by using Chaos form. Must be ritual summoned and cannot be special summoned by any other way. Cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card's effects. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict double piercing battle damage to your opponent. So pretty much, you've got to ritual summon it. Can't do it any other way. Right, so you've got plenty of ways to ritual summon it in this deck, so that's not a problem. If you're lucky enough to attack your opponent's defense monster and they are stupid enough to put a 0 defense monster on the field, which it has happened, but it's hilarious when it does, it'll attack and it'll do double piercing damage. Because it's already got 4,000 attack, that's 8,000, and that's game. So yeah, basically, don't put any monsters in defense mode while Max is on the field, because it will go through them and then it will do double defense damage. And like I said, depending on what you've put on the field, could be game. I've literally done it on Master Duels. Someone put a 0 defense monster, I summoned a Chaos, attacked their defense monster, did 8,000 damage, game. Next card is Boys Abyss Dragon. As you can see, pretty much I might get rid of this card, but as it stands, it allows you to add a ritual spell or polymerization from your deck to your hand. Might just get rid of this card and replace it with another alternative or something else and everything, because I don't really use it as much. Other than that, it allows you to get other monsters and stuff. I'm not going to go into much detail of this card, because again, if you know Blue Eyes, you know this card pretty well, and because I'm not really keen on it, I'm thinking of getting rid of it anyway. So again, not going to talk too much about it and stuff, but again, we got a Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon. Now we're going into some spell cards. This card is fantastic. This is one of the new ones. War of the Blue Eyes Dragons. Special summon in defense mode one Blue Eyes monster from your graveyard or banishment. But if you control no Blue Eyes White Dragon monster, you can only special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon. With this effect. Also, you cannot special summon from your extra deck for the rest of this turn except dragon monsters. You can banish this card from your graveyard, fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, including a Blue Eyes White Dragon monster. You can only use this effect one per turn. So again, this card is really good. Like I said, I'll show you a combo of this card later, but we won 2 of them. But like I said, not only can you get Blue Eyes on the field easily, you can do fusion and stuff. Second card is Dragon Shrine. And this is just a simple way to get your Blue Eyes in the graveyard or your White Stone of Ancients. Send one dragon type monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then if that monster is in your graveyard is a dragon type, normal type, you can send another dragon type monster from your deck to the graveyard. So what I normally do with this card is I'll send a Blue Eyes and then I'll send a White Stone of Ancient to the graveyard, and we are winning 2 of them. Next card is Wishes for Eyes of Blue. This is another new card for the Blue Eyes deck, and this is a really good card. You mainly use the first effect of this card and not the second, but you can use the second if need be. This card, one card, add one level 1 white tuna monster and one spell or trap card that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand, except Wishes for Eyes of Blue. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Blue Eyes monster you control. Equip one Blue Eyes monster from your X deck to it as an equip spell card, and it gets 400 attack points. You can only use this effect once per turn. Again, you rarely don't use the second effect, but the first effect of this card is absolutely fantastic, and I'll talk more about it later on. So again, we won 2 copies of that. Next card is Ultimate Fusion. During the main phase, fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon as material by shuffling the fusion material listed on it from your hand, field, or graveyard into the deck. Then you can destroy face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of Blue Eyes White Dragons or Ultimate Dragons you used for the field from the field as material. You can only use one fusion per turn. So basically, polymerization for Blue Eyes, but not only do you get to use the cards from your hand, field, or graveyard, instead of just sending them straight to the graveyard, they get shuffled back into your deck so you can reuse them, which is fantastic, because not only can you use Blue Eyes Eternity Dragon, because them classed as Blue Eyes in the graveyard, as you can also use your normal Blue Eyes. So like I said, I've got 5 resources in this deck to use this card from, and again they get shuffled back in the deck so you get to use them again later. Again, really powerful card. And not only that, if you took them from the field, you get to destroy the number of cards as well, so it's also a destroy card as well. Again, not many people think about this card, but like I said, use lightly. This card is a beast. Then we've got our field card, Museum of Light. Probably just butchered that name, but basically you can read it there. Really don't use this card that much, other than its main effect. During your main phase, you can normal summon one extra level 1 tuna monster on your added normal summon. So basically you can normal summon twice. Don't really use the second effect. Thinking I might be getting rid of this card, to be honest, because I don't use it as much as I used to, but it's there because it can be summoned easy. Next card is Melody of Awakening Dragon. Standard draw card. Discard 1 card, and then basically add up 2 dragon type monsters with attack power 3000 or more, and defense 25 or less from your deck to your hand. Again, we won 2 copies of these. Like I said, very easy. Got White Stone of Ancients in my hand. Use this card. Discard White Stone of Ancient. Access to the graveyard. Basically, get Alternative Dragon. Get Blue Eyes in my hand. Use Eternity's effect. Special summon from my hand by reviewing Blue Eyes. Turn ends. White Stone of Age and activate, you've got basically 2 meat sticks on the field in the price of 1. So again, you can set up pretty much decent combos. Next card is the Ultimate Creature of Destruction. Love this trap card. One of my favourite trap cards for boys. Basically, target 1 boys monster you control this turn. That face-up monster is unaffected by card effects except its arm. It cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, any opponent's monster it battles is destroyed at the end of the damage step. While this card is in your graveyard, if you normal summon or special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can send this card. You can set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect once per turn. So basically what that means is you can activate it. Your Blue Eyes White Dragon is unaffected. It can't get destroyed in battle, so you can literally send your Blue Eyes out to battle without fear of being destroyed. So even if your opponent's monster's got like more meat sticks and everything, as long as you got the life points to spare, you can literally go Blue Eyes attack. Then the end of the battle, that card gets destroyed. Blue Eyes is still on the field. And you might, yep. And then obviously when it's sent to the graveyard, if you special summon another Blue Eyes afterwards, you can reset it. So basically, you can use it twice. Obviously, the second time you use it, it gets banished. But again, you can use it. Next card is Mistress of the White Dragons. Probably Magistry of the White Dragons. Again, or Majestic of the White Dragons. Butchering names, I do apologise. I'm terrible, bad at reading at times, especially some of these Yu-Gi-Oh names. But again, this is another trap card I use. Show up to 3 of the Blue Eyes White Dragons in your hand, face up monster zone or graveyard. Then destroy equal number of cards your opponent controls. You can banish this card from your graveyard, ritual summon 1 ritual monster from your hand by attributing Blue Eyes White Dragon monsters from your hand or field, or whose total level equals its level. You can only use the effect of this once per turn. So basically, you can to destroy cards. So basically, you show 3 different versions of Blue Eyes. So Blue Eyes, Alternative, and any other Blue Eyes. How many you show depends on how many cards you can destroy. So you can literally wipe boards depending on how many Blue Eyes you've got and everything. Second bonus to this is the reason why we don't run Chaos form is because we don't need to, because we've got this. Basically, once this is in the graveyard, we just wait or get Chaos in our hand. As soon as Chaos is in our hand, we can banish this from the graveyard and then use it as the ritual card that we need, and basically summon Chaos. That's why I run 2, and it's searchable by Eyes of True Light and everything. So again, that's why we don't run Chaos form and everything. Even though Chaos form is searchable as well, but we don't want it because we don't need to, because we've got 2 of them. Next card is this card. It's another hand trap. I'm not going to go into the detail of it. Like I said, if you've played Yu-Gi-Oh, you know this card. I'm not going to even pronounce the name because I butcher it. But basically, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Negate its effect until the end of this turn. Then if this card was set before activation and is on the field at resolve for the rest of this turn, or other spell trap monster effects this is considered are negated. If you control no cards, you can activate this from your hand. So basically, most people use this first turn because they can use it from the hand. So yeah, it becomes a hand trap, or you can, or it's a standard negate card on the field. And last and not least, True Light. This card is the bread and butter of this deck. It allows you to do much. I used to run 3 copies of this card, but now I only run 1 because Maiden can summon this card back from the dead. No problem. So you don't have to worry about it being destroyed, as in previous decks. Once True Light was destroyed, that was it. You're panicking, so you have to have multiple copies to back up your backups. Don't need it now. Maiden can bring it back easily. You can get Maiden out easy. Like I said, just summon a Blue Eyes, Maiden's back, and everything. So Maiden's very, very, very useful and whatnot. The effects of this: your opponent cannot target Blue Eyes White Dragon in your monster zone with effects. If this face-up card is sent from the spell trap zone to the graveyard, destroy all monsters you control. You can only use the following effects of True Light once per turn. You can activate one of these effects. Special summon 1 Blue Eyes from your hand or graveyard. Set Set one spell or trap card from your deck that specifically lists Blue Eyes White Dragons in its text with a different name from the card you control. And stuff. So basically you can search all your trap and spells because they've got Blue Eyes in the name or in the text. And you can special Blue Eyes White Dragons, and then when you special, they can't be targeted. So that's why we have one of these. Again, this allows you to search many cards and many combos. Maiden allows you to get this card out pretty easy now. You literally only need to run one. Like I said, you could run two, but literally one is pretty much all you really need. So that is pretty much my Blue Eyes deck at the moment. Put that to the side. Next is the extra deck. So starting things off with Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. This card is not in Master Duels, and it's a shame because apparently it's something to do with the artwork, I think, or something like that. There's some issues with it or something like that. That's the reason. But I don't know. I'm sure someone can explain more. But that's the reason why it's not in Master Duels, which is a shame because it's a good card. You need 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons to summon it, or anything with Blue Eyes in its name. Your opponent cannot target or destroy this card with card effects. Once per turn, you can target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. If this card was fusion summoned using a monster with original name is Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. This is why I have the Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. As a material, you can target up to 3 cards your opponent controls. Instead, this card can't attack the turn use its effect. So basically, it has Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon's effect, but it only has it can do multiple damage if you use a Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon as material. That's why I won 2. Gives me more opportunity to use one of them as a material summon to summon this bad boy out. Once this bad boy's out, it can't, like I said, it can't. Opponents cannot target it or destroy this card. Your opponent cannot target or destroy this card with card effects, so it's protected right there. And plus, it's got like its own destruction kind of thing, so it can basically nuke 3 cards each turn. So basically, if you use Alternative Dragon as fusion material, you've got a 3-turn nuke. You can go, yep, your 3 cards are gone. Bye. Bang, 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 bang. Don't like those 3 cards. Bang, 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 bang. Don't like your 3 monsters. Bang, 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 bang. Okay, you can't attack with it when you do it, but if you've got other cards on the field, you just attack with them instead. Like I said, that just becomes your base. You go, yeah, don't worry, your 3 spell traps in the background. Bang, 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 gone. And so on. So that's why I won that. It's a shame it's not in Master Duels because it would be more matches, but I don't know why, but it's not. Next card we play is Blue Eyes Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Again, need 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons to summon it. It's pretty much Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, but different. At the end of the battle step, if this card is the only face-up card you control, this fusion summon activate, you can send 1 Blue Eyes fusion material monster, one Blue Eyes fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. Then this card can attack again in a while. You can only use this effect of Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon you can use this effect up to 2 turns per turn. During each player's turn, when a spell or card effect is activated that targets a Blue Eyes White Dragon you control, you can banish this card from your graveyard and negate the activation, and if you do, destroy the card. Like I said, what a text there. Sum it down for you. Basically, this is the only card on the field that you've got, and it's the only fusion card you've got, and everything. Basically, you can send 1 other Blue Eyes fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard for it to attack again, which I've done in Master Duels to win a match. Basically, I summoned this. It was the only card I had. Attacked. They had only 4,000 life points left. Used its effect. Send 1 of my other Blue Eyes material. Obviously not this one, but another Blue Eyes material card. Fusion card I had in the extra deck. Send it. Give me the ability to attack again. Attacked again. Won the match. Again, you can do that effect twice. So you can do it. You can attack with this card 3 times. Again, if it's in the graveyard and the card is effect activates to attack a Blue Eyes, you can banish this card from the graveyard and neutralize the effect. So pretty cool. Like I said, don't don't use it as much as I do, but 9 to 10, because I can't use, there isn't a alternative dragon, ultimate dragon in Master Duels, I tend to use Neo more in Master Duel. But in real life, if I had to choose between Neo or alternative, it's alternative mostly. So there we go. Next card is Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. Again, easy to summon. Don't need to use Polymerization or any infusion spells to summon it. You can literally just send 2 Blue Eyes to the graveyard and special summon it like that. Must be special summoned or fusion summoned or special summoned, sending the above monsters you control to the graveyard and everything, and special summon the card. What else? So I'm just trying to read, and then can be not special summoned by any four. This card can't be destroyed in battle. Like I said, one of the benefits of this card is it can't be destroyed in battle, so you can attack with it, and it will destroy the attacking monster, but you can't destroy that. Obviously, don't attack anything that's got higher attack points, because even though it won't get destroyed, you still take damage. It can attack twice as well. This card can also attack your opponent's choice. What else does it? So I'm just trying. Like I said, it's been ages since I've used it today, so it can attack twice on a turn doing a bounce. At the end of your battle phase, when this card attacks an opponent monster, but the opponent's monster was not destroyed by battle. Oh yeah, you can also banish it as well. So basically, this card doesn't get destroyed. You can attack an opponent's monster. If that opponent's monster's card didn't get destroyed, at the end of the turn you can banish it as well. So it is pretty powerful. That's why we want it in the deck. It can attack your opponent twice. It can't be destroyed in battle. The only thing is it can still be hit by his trap cards and stuff and all that. It hasn't got anything to just protect itself. So that's why you use things like True White or Creature of the ultimate creature of destruction to give it some protection. And then basically, because it can't get destroyed in battle, you basically just bulldoze effects. So I do know what some of these cards do. So sometimes I only use one effect more than the full effects, and sometimes I should really use the full effects. But again, like I said, I've got other cards that I do, so I do play them and everything. So I might sound like I don't know what I'm doing. Also, I just want to make sure I've got the text right, because again, in Yu-Gi-Oh, as you know, some text and some wording are very hit and miss at times, and you can misplay very easily if you don't know what you're reading. Next card is Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. Basically, you need one Blue Eyes White Dragon card and one monster type to fuse and summon this bad boy. Must be fusion. Must first be either fusion summoned or special summoned from your exosound by tributing one Blue Eyes White Dragon. You don't have to do that. Like I said, spell cards and stuff, all that. Basically, this card is unaffected by trap cards or effects. This card can attack all monsters on the field that your opponent controls. So basically, it can attack all the entire field, which is fantastic. And everything once per turn. Once per turn, at the end of the battle damage, if this card battles, you can target one trap card in your graveyard and set it. So basically, you can resurrect True Light or any other trap card that's in the graveyard once it attacks and wins the battle and everything. Because it can attack all cards on the field as well, you've got multiple chances to get that effect off. So it's a pretty good card. Like I said, I do use this card a lot more than anything. Next, I go to my XYZs. We play number 92, Earth Dragon. Again, don't play as much as I used to. This used to be my board wiper card. If it stays on the field long enough, it basically wipes the board and everything, especially on your opponent's side. But you've got to keep it on the field long enough. There's too many cards now that takes it off the field, so I don't get to use it as much. But if you do, it wipes the board. If anyone is stupid enough to attack it, instead of you taking the damage, they take the damage as well. Take it instead. So it's pretty good for that. If people don't know what it does, basically they can fall for the trap and attack it and then do damage to themselves. If it stays on the field long enough, anything that your opponent special summoned or set on that turn gets bounced back, kind of thing. But again, trying to get the effect off is hit and miss at times, so I tend not to use it, but it's there as a backup Next backup card is number 100. Again, I normally use this card with this card, and I'll talk more about it in a minute. So basically, this card is one per turn. You can detach one XY material from this card. This card gains attack equal to the combined ranks of all XYZ monsters currently on the field times 1000 until the end of your opponent's turn. When this card is destroyed by a card effect, you can destroy as many monsters on the field as possible, minimum 1. Then each player sets one spell trap card from their graveyard to their field. When an opponent's monster declares an attack while this card is in your graveyard, and you have no cards in your hand or field, you can special summon this card. Again, 9 out of 10, you don't use the first effect and the last two effects. You may use the first effect. Basically, you summon this on the field. If your opponent's got dozens of XYZs or you got XYZ monsters on, you can bind all the ranks of your XYZ monsters to 1000. I've literally got this to like 9,000 attack points at one point, or 10,000 attack points at one point. Like I said, you can do some really zit combos with this and win games with it. Like I said, it's a beast, but again, many cards can stop it now. So the 9 out of 10, you don't get to use this, but if you do get to use it and pull it off, boy, are you having a laugh. Easy way to summon this card is by using this card. This is my next one, number 97. Basically, easy card to summon on the field. You only need 2 level 8s. Basically, your opponent cannot target this card with effects. You can discharge one material from this card. Target 2 dragon number monsters with different names from your extract. Except this card. Special summon one of them and attach the other to its material. So basically, summon that. If I've got, don't know why I've just stripped that. Summon that. Pick 2. Summon 1. Use the other one as the material. Gives that the material it needs, and everything, and then bam, there you go. Or vice versa, and everything. Cannot special summon other monsters or declare an attack except with special summon monster. So basically, whatever monster you attack is the only one you can attack with. Gives why this is a good combo with that, because you use this to special summon that. That can attack if you've got enough. Like I said, that's still on the field, so you use the effect of that. Increases attack points on that. Gives it about, say, 8,000, 9,000 attack points, give or take, depending. And then basically that attacks with 9,000, bam, game won. If there's got nothing to stop it, obviously, and stuff. So yeah, pretty cool card. Like I said, not only can it summon that, you can summon Art, or it can summon Galaxy. You can summon pretty much any of your other XYZ dragons and stuff. Again, summoning next card is number 62, Galaxy. Can't pull off all the effects because we don't play Galaxy cards, but it's pretty much, again, this is another card that gets attack points gets increased depending on how many cards are on the field and everything. It's more how many cards are on XY, how many XYZs are on the field and stuff. So it can get pretty powerful. It's just another beat stick. Again, I tend not to use it as much because, again, I've got other stronger cards that allow me to win, and plus they collide with my Blue Eyes cards anyway. These are just here just in case I need to, or if I need to go that strategy, they're just there as backups. Next card is the XYZ Blue Eyes card. This another new card for the Blue Eyes deck. And like I said, Blue Eyes has now got every summoning mechanic. There's a Blue Eyes card for it now. So this is the XYZ version. Again, 2 level 8s. Cannot attack directly unless you've got a normal summon as material. So make sure you've got a normal summon. So make sure you're fusing this with your Blue Eyes. XYZ and with the Blue Eyes as material, because if not, you can't attack with it. Use each of the following effects of this card once per turn. If this card is XY summoned, you can negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent controls. You can detach one material from this card and target one normal monster in your graveyard, or banish or banish and special summon it. If you do, this card gets 1,000. So basically it becomes 5,000 because it already starts off 4,000. When it's first XYZ summoned, it nukes all effects, which is great. So if you need card effects to be negated, you summon this. Then you can summon a Blue Eyes from your graveyard. If you do, that gets 5,000 attack. But again, just make sure you summon it with Blue Eyes White Dragon. So again, I use it more for the first effect more than anything. Next card is our Synchros. And we got with our another new card, which is Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon, which is the ultimate version of Spirit Dragon. This card is amazing. It's hard to summon, but I'll show you a quick way to summon it in a few minutes because I've got a sick way of summoning this. Again, it's pretty cool. You need 2 tuner monsters, 1 non-tuner monster, and 1 Blue Eyes monster to summon it. So it's a big summon it normally. It is a pain, but at the same time, if you can summon it, it's fantastic. Your opponent cannot banish this card from your graveyard. You can only use one of the following effects of Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon once per turn. When this card or effect, when a card or effect is activated on the field, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, this card gains 1,000 attack points for this turn until the end of the turn. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon 1 white monster from your graveyard except Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. So basically, it can negate effects. When it does, it gains 1,000 attack points and everything. And then obviously, if it does get destroyed, you can resurrect a white monster from your grave. Next card is, again, Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. Again, I've probably just butchered the name. If I have, I do apologise. This is a straightforward card. Also, it's a must card in this deck, and I'll show you why in a bit. But basically, standard 1 tuner monster, 1 non-tuner monster, and everything. When this card is special summoned, dragon type monsters you currently control cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects until the end of their next turn. Once per turn during your standby phase, you can target 1 normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So it's pretty vanilla, but it's the first effect that protects dragons from destruction that you want to play. Like I said, we'll talk more about that later. Next card is Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. We won 2 copies of these. This card is funny, especially when you're playing online or anything, because getting its first effect off is stupid. And I'll go into more detail right now. So basically, negate. Neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters on the same turn. Once per turn during either player's turn, when an effect of a card in the graveyard is activated, you can negate the activation during either player's turn. You can tribute the Synchron monster. You can tribute summon this Synchron monster. Special summon 1 white dragon type Synchron monster from your extra deck in defense mode, except Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, but destroy it during the end phase of this turn. So basically, second effect is what we use. First effect is very hard to pull off in Master Duel and everything, because especially the one where it goes, this card, especially when this card is basically saying, oh, I'm activating from the graveyard, because every time you try to activate it, it thinks you're going to activate the one where you send it to the graveyard itself. It is stupid the ways that they need to fix the mechanics in that game. In real life, you can decide which effect you're going to use. In Master Duel, it's a pain, but we won two of these cards, and I'll explain more later. Then I've got my last 2 cards are Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Like I said, these are the new Rink monsters. Like I said, Blue Eyes has got a fusion monster for every section now. Basically easy. It's only a level 1, so you can use it with White Starting of Agents, Maiden, Sage. Very easy to master. Very easy to get on the field. It can search the field card. Something of based the field card that I've got in the thing. Also, if you've got a Blue Eyes in the graveyard, you can special summon a Blue Eyes in the graveyard, and mainly use it as just cannon fodder or a quick way to get my stones into the graveyard as quick as possible. And I won 2 copies of them. that being said, I'm going to quickly, bear with me 1 second, I'm going to quickly get some cards out and show you some really fun combos. So just bear with me 1 second as I do so. And everything, because as I mentioned earlier, there's some really cool combos you can pull off. And it's one of my favourite combos. So just bear with me as I get the cards I need. So basically, for your opening hand, you want to see at least one of these in your hand. You want to see these in your hand. And the reason why is I'll go into detail now. Mainly, you want to see this one. If you've got this in your hand, you can start some really good combos. So, again, like I said, depending on the situation and whatnot, if you've got that in your hand, you use this card, because you've got to discard a card in to activate it. So play that card, discard White Star of Agents. So White Star of Agent has been discarded and everything. Just let me get this. So you played that, discard Stone, use its effect. You haven't got Maiden of White in your hand, so you might, okay, I need Maiden and I need Sage. So you use this card's effect, you get Sage in your hand, like I said. Then you play Sage. Sage's effect goes off, allows you to add Maiden to your hand. So you've got Maiden in your hand. Say Stone is in the graveyard and whatnot and everything. Just bear with me, I'm just trying to find more cards so I can explain. So Maiden's on Sage is on the field, Maiden's in your hand. Use Maiden's effect, send Maiden to the graveyard. Maiden allows you to activate basically True White. Because it's already face up on the field, True White can activate its effect and whatnot. But you don't do that. Also, as you've added Maiden, your second card you want to add to your hand for that effect is this card. So you add Maiden and you add this card to your hand by using this card's effect. So True White's on the field. You don't use True White's effect just yet. So that's there. Next card you play is War of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Like I said, that allows you to special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck. Blue Eyes is special summoned. Because Blue Eyes is special summoned, Maiden is special summoned back again. So you got your Maiden back. Like I said, Maiden is special summoned and everything, which is great. Then you synchro summon using either Sage or Maiden. So send Sage or Maiden to the graveyard and send the Blue Eyes that you've just used to the graveyard. That special summons your first Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Then you use True White to bring back the Blue Eyes that you've just used. Then you use Maiden and Blue Eyes to synchro summon to your second Spirit of White, Spirit Dragon, Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. So then you got your two Spirit Dragons on the field. Then you use your first Spirit Dragon, send that to the graveyard. That allows you to special summon Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon. Now, Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon will be destroyed at the end of this turn. This is where your second Spirit of White comes in handy, because you send that to the graveyard. Special summon this card. Azul Silver, Mr. Silver Dragon. Silver Dragon is now protected both of those cards from destruction and everything. Turn end, because you've sent Sage, White Stone of Agent to the graveyard, you can use it to special summon Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. Just going to put Blue Eyes Jet Dragon in there because you can't barely see. But that allows you to special summon it. So that protects True White. So True White can't be destroyed. Just putting it there so you can see. that protects alternative. So, not alternative. Alternative Spirit Dragon, and basically you've summoned that with bare minimum effect. And then not only have you got your negate on there, you've got your True White, so you can keep special summoning stuff. You've got your Blue Eyes Jet Dragon to protect True Whites. Like I said, if you don't want to use True White to special summon, you can use this card to special summon cards. Again, once you've special summoned the Blue Eyes, you can get your Maiden back. Again, you can soon go summon into something else or whatever. You can keep repeating the combo. Like I said, if True White does get destroyed, as long as Maiden's on the field, you can send her, bring True White back, repeat the process all over again. You can pretty much cycle, and basically you've done all that retreat by retreat. 3 cards. Well, like I said, pretty much 4 cards is what started this entire combo off. Those 4 cards. Because you use that to get Maiden and Sage. If you haven't got Maiden in your hand already. If you've got Maiden in your hand, I do apologise. If you got Maiden in your hand, still use that to get Sage. Play Sage on the field anyway. Get Sage to get your effect failure, so you've got your negate in your hand. And then use Maiden's effect. Basically, what you want is Sage, and you want that card. You want those cards in your hand, opening hand, because then you can play off combos and then get all this out with no problem. So that's how you do one of my combos. I've got many other combos, but that's one of my main combos and an easy way to summon this card. Because summoning this card other ways. Now, there's other ways, depending on what deck you're using, you probably could summon it pretty easy. But if you want to summon it in this deck, that's a pretty fast way to summon it. And that is pretty much my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. Any questions? Feel free to comment and stuff. Any stuff you want to tell me about or whatnot. Again, like I said, it's not going to win you any locals. It could win you some matches. You can have some fun. Like I said, I have fun on Master Duel with this deck. And everything. The only downside is I can't use Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon. Not Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Sorry, the fusion card I've got. Can't use it because it's not in the game. Other than that, like I said, you can use pretty much all the rest of the cards. And that's it. Thank you for watching.